Good evening, everyone. My name is Dominic Akers. I'm going to give you a little speech on why I believe that there should be an age limit in Congress and the presidency. More specifically, I think 55 to 60 years old will be a perfect cutoff. I want you to envision a government evolving with the energy of new ideas, perfectly aligned with our rapidly changing society. The thoughts and values and morals of the generations of yesteryears doesn't always seem to align with what we believe and look at today. Uh, for instance, think back a couple generations ago, maybe 150 years. What you will be doing compared to what your father or your grandfather would be doing, it's not very different. People are just farmers or shepherds. But in this current age, the difference between generations are way more substantial. So I believe that bringing in the government of yesteryear will not align with what we need today. So why is this age limit a necessity? I believe that the benefits will align with our social dynamics of the modern era. I believe that we need to have a less rigid government and a government that can be way more fluid with how we combat certain ideas. And there's a couple things like the impact of age and health on decision making and the infusion of fresh perspectives from newer generations. Why would you ever listen to what I have to say? I guess my only credibility would be my background in political science and the study of global political trends. So back to the necessity of the age limit in leadership. The importance is from a necessity of needing younger, more dynamic leadership in the modern era. Who is better to govern the younger people than the young people themselves? Not to be very blunt, but the older generation is on its way out, and their ideas and morals are going with them. So I think that it would be best for the people of the generation to govern themselves. Realistically, I'm not talking about 15, and I think that the age cutoff being 35 is great, but I think that we need the cutoff on the other opposite end as well. And I'm proposing an age range 55 to 60. I think that would be very perfect for what we need to accomplish here. All right, and the benefits of younger people also, like I said before, is that it aligns with our social dynamics. You can see definite social change in ideas from generation to generation. What I believe to be morally correct today will be seen as barbaric in no time as well. So I stand here and say that I think that at a certain time, I also should not be able to govern anything after a certain age and make way for the next generation as well. And another thing that goes into is young leaders' attitude to the social and technological changes. We've all seen the horrific attempt at governing social media that our Congress has failed at many times, not even understanding what some of these technologies are. Simple things like Wi-Fi or how security and safety works. New jobs and careers have propped up in my generation, like cybersecurity and more advanced programming, things that older people never had a chance to even dive into. So it's very unreasonable to ask them to govern these things. That's definitely something that someone from my generation would have expertise in. So I think that it's only logical for them to be on their way out. More examples. Not only did we see our government fumble legislation on TikTok and Facebook, and we watched them fumble over even the basic understanding of what any of these technologies do. And then I'll move on next into understanding the societal alignment and the health impacts of age. Obviously, strokes and other diseases are more than likely, they are possible with the younger generation, but more than likely they will be affecting people of older age. And we've seen senators such as Mitch McConnell, or even our president, because I want to talk about it being congressional and for the presidency. I believe that there should be a limit for all offices. I would even argue that there should definitely be a limit for the Supreme Court. That's very important. They're lifers, and they hold all of their morals and all of their grudges and stuff from a past era, and I believe that there should be a higher turnover rate for high office holdings like that. And I believe that this is something that we would have to change for the betterment of our society. And then let's move on into the importance of physical and mental stamina in governance. The average retirement age is about 65, and there's no secret that the older you get, the harder it is to keep up mentally and physically, just with memory, or like I mentioned earlier, with technology, but also just with the grueling work hours. And not only do I think it's morally reprehensive, but I feel like we owe it to forcibly retire people after a certain age, because it's just unreasonable to give a 80-year-old man 80-hour weeks of work when they should be home resting, perhaps. I think that is just an unreasonable ask. And then I will move on into the infusion of fresh perspective. Not only does the older generation carry with them the ideas of that time, but they also show the racial and demographic breakdown of the time as well. As time goes on, we see, especially in this country, different changes in the demographics of America. And by cycling people out, our government could more accurately represent these immigration patterns and bring in these fresh new perspectives from people from faraway lands. It also promotes diversity in leadership. It prevents political entrenchment and encourages inclusive policymaking. And I think that overall, this would be a step in the right direction. I believe that our government is very flexible. We've shown the ability to change things in our laws, like in the Bill of Rights and such. And this wouldn't be anything too spectacular of an ask, just to add a age limit for more high turnover in governance. And I think that is just a reasonable thing to do. Hopefully you guys can take in my thoughts, and perhaps I've changed some of your thoughts. Thank you.